We're not making Jesus anything. He is the maker. We are simply bowing. There indeed must be a bowing, a falling at his feet, and the removal of our shoes. There's no real Christianity without it, and true Christianity is triumphant by nature. There's no such thing as a defeated Christianity. There isn't any. There may be many occasions when this bowing and this surrender of the reins of power must occur. But there must be a first time. And that first time makes this occasion especially holy ground. It's holy ground that will be revisited over and over and over on our sojourn in the land of promise. Many, many times you're going to find yourself clucking along like you're in charge of everything, and suddenly everything begins to fall apart and you wondered what's happened. Well, you got your shoe back on. An not unlikely scenario that we could say is here before us. Joshua, the current commander-in-chief, goes out to do some reconnaissance. And suddenly he notices this guy with a sword in his hand and looking very much like he knows how to use it. And Joshua is anxious, of course, not to have any unknown foes, and just as desirous to have all the help that he can get and he can muster. And so he asks him whose side he's on. And the reply comes, I have not come to take sides, but to take over. I'm not here to enlist in your project. I'm here to take the thing over completely. It's interesting to notice that the Lord avoids a direct answer to what Joshua's bottom line is, are you here to help us or to hurt us? He merely says, I am taking charge. You're going to have to live with that. God doesn't often explain things to us. Later on we begin to understand. But he doesn't always explain things to us. He just gives us the ultimatum. Joshua's response is altogether proper. That is, he did the right thing. But had I been in his place, it might have been altogether different. It might have been something like the following, if I had been there in Joshua's place. Well, you mean you're going to take over? Yeah, right. Well, you realize that this is my job. Yeah, that's right. Take off your shoe. Well, you know, I'd like to know just how you plan to approach this thing. I'd be glad for you to take it over. Really, I would like for you to do it, but let me know what your plan of action is. Pull off your shoe. You know, the first problem I've got to do for these people here, they're kindly hungry and we don't have anything to eat. Pull off your shoe. Do you have any plans for us to get some food? Pull off your shoe. How do I know that you're going to be successful in this? Pull off your shoe. And as long as we're quarreling with God about this and simply saying, Lord, if you'll do this, Lord, if you'll let me know this is going to happen, and if this is going to be all right, I'll submit. And he's not going to do that. We just have to capitulate and put everything in his hands and give up and let him have it. You do not have to be a leader with great responsibilities to be in Joshua's shoes. You cannot handle the war in your own life. You don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be a head of a state or something like that. You can't handle your own life. Now that's the thing where we really want to quarrel about. What I wear, where I go to work, what I eat, where I build my house, how I build my house, where I live. You and I don't even have enough competence and ability to do that ourselves. He's King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Lord of all his people. The lordship of Christ is a settled reality that never will change. God has made him Lord of all. He is our commander-in-chief. Absolutely. Now, if you want to know what the victorious life is, or the life of joy and peace, the real Christian life, that's it. Barefooted, obedient, knowing nothing, absolutely submission. He's in charge of everything. We might find ourselves quarreling with God about every time we run into a major crisis that we think has to be taken care of in a particular way. When we think that we must take over the reins for a while until we get things back in control, then we'll let him be Lord again. No. Until we get through a particular crisis, and then we'll let him be Lord again. We think that we have the answer, and the Lord may not settle it according to our liking. Lord, I've really got this all figured out. If you just help me a little bit here. Or if you just get out of my way and let me do it myself. But it'll never be that way. All of this doubt and fear and unbelief, carnal reasoning, must ultimately end in our taking off our shoes and falling at his feet in abandoned trust and reporting for duty. What may be repeated many times must always be a first time. Bowing to the lordship of Christ, receiving him as commander-in-chief, is not a post-conversion event. It's a central issue in salvation, in initial faith itself. If you are not yet a Christian, that's the reason why. If you are not yet a Christian, this is the issue. Now, you ain't planning to go to hell. You're not planning to die like that. You just want to run your life, all your life, and just before you die, you let him have your dying days. But you don't know when you're going to die, because his breath is in your hand too. He's Lord of that. That's the issue. It isn't whether you want to get saved or not. Yeah, everybody wants to get saved. The issue is whether Christ is going to be King, Lord. Pull off your shoe.